believe that artists really kind of pave the way for social change. I feel like artists are the ones to create the world and create the space that makes social change possible for people.
Art has always been healing for me. It's a form of connecting with your soul. It's a form of understanding heavier topics through a lighter medium.
Creativity and imagination and dreaming, that's the first step of making our world better. I really believe that artists are on the forefront of creating those changes and making life better for everybody because we're dreaming and creating the beginning of the social change in our minds.
Change can be very simple, yes, very complex, but I think people can start by simplifying it for themselves if we just start with ourselves.
So my name is Gloria. I'm born and raised in Toronto. My late father is Nigerian, Igbo, and my mom is from Hong Kong. I grew up on my mom's side, and English is not my first language. Cantonese is. Politically, my art calls out stuff. It calls out certain things. It could be in metaphors or just be just blunt. Or I could spark people to ask and seek more.
My name is Nesha Buri, and I'm Iranian. I come from a place where there's lots of mountains and dirt. My grandpa was an apothecary, so I think those are some of the things that make me feel grounded, the smell of dirt and herbal medicine.
Being in an art show and being in a gallery was a dream that I didn't even know was a potential to be a possibility for me. It was something that seemed so far away as an option. So it's kind of surreal, kind of very exciting. In Mandarin, it's 成就感. It's feeling of accomplishment, I guess. Young BIPOC environmentalists, they had a lack of self-representation. Well, here you go, these beautiful portraits of awesome youth BIPOC environmentalists. There's some self-representation right there.
I feel like my art as an Indigenous person ties into my culture a lot. A lot of the materials that I use do have cultural significance, but I feel like I'm constantly thinking of ways to maybe, reinvent these materials or use them in unconventional ways. These jingle cones, they're normally associated with jingle dresses, which is a traditional regalia. When the person is dancing in it, it creates kind of a very, beautiful sound, a beautiful jingle.
They say these walls are the closest thing to the graveyard. A city filled with vultures circling around, waiting for lost spirits fall apart. The outside world wants solutions, yet constantly latch onto problems. Maybe whoever is walking these steps may need to hear, you're not alone. You're appreciated. You're loved. This project is called The Human in Us All. And it talks about the inner child and what it faces through the different stages of incarceration. These words are not only representing my art, but it's for a lot of people who can't speak no more. Because there's a lot of people that really care about. Yeah.
A couple months ago, when the Women Life Freedom protests happened, there were lots of internet blocks, and I couldn't speak to my family, and it was hard to speak with friends just because it was that block of information and people were suffering and a nation was being censored. And to me, it's really heartbreaking. As a young artist in Iran, I had to express metaphorically and I had to censor myself.
and I've had to bear witness to other people censoring the work in themselves. I'm showcasing a 5 to 7 minute performance during which the participants are going to engage in a free writing activity, and they'll be writing on each other. And it's a performance about censorship and about journaling and how that has served as something unerasable and uncensorable.
It took me a while to realize that culture is something that also exists in the moment, you know? It's not just something that exists in the past, that we're always continuously trying to live up to this idea of what was. That was just kind of the imposition of colonialism and religion onto Indigenous peoples that kind of, shaped the culture and shaped the narratives within a lot of Indigenous cultures of Turtle Island. So especially, as a queer person as well, I feel like I'm also trying to carve my own path within my culture. So I feel like my piece as well can also, speak to that reinvention and that changing aspect of culture too.
I truly believe deep down that art can make a change. We have seen it in history, and we look back when art was used to unite people, to educate people. And I think art is one of the most easiest way to communicate and mediate that information.
As a group of diverse and racialized folks, it's very important to me to have this space because this really is a space for us to question and to come and show up as ourselves. Change can happen if you just allow people, especially racialized artists, and give them the resources to really push their practice forward.
Not every vocation, not every field has this massive amount of flexibility to be able to voice your opinion on any given matter, and I think that's why I chose art. Art can be very influential, I guess is what I'm saying, and I think art has the power to connect various different fields, various different people from all walks of life together and create conversation that penetrates different fields in life. And I feel like this is, for me, just an act of self-healing.
So I want you to look around and really just take in this moment, everybody. Okay, a lot of people are gonna come and give you feedback on the work that you've been creating. And that this, I hope, 10 or 20 years later will feel like one of those important moments in the development or in your role in the movement.
What is it going to look like in 20 years' time when all of you are doing something like this? What are you going to create? What will be passed on from this moment of all of us working together with so much heart, with so much care, with so much radicalness?
So before I say this piece, I just ask for the audience to take it in with an open mind, an open heart. Even just to be amongst other racialized folks, I don't feel like I stand out.
There's often more of an understanding without words that can be created when you're in spaces that are BIPOC only or BIPOC focused.
Everyone is driven by what they want to speak to wholeheartedly, and it was inspiring to see that all around. Everyone had something that fueled their work. It was a very nice experience. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Inner child,
I want to love you, dear self.
the children and humans in us all.
Outlaws, lawless.
The childlike innocence have been ravished by this world revolving laws.
So for me to create more art, I need some kind of stability. Like even if it's not the money, at least fund the places. So there's art residencies where I could actually stay with my family, focus on my art and not having to worry about living check by check.
Well, we need the city to be less expensive. So there definitely needs to be funding for sure. Maybe the prioritizing of culture in neighborhoods, more community spaces, more outdoor spaces for sure.
You need not only the space, but you need those conditions of care and you need that support. That's all really important for building a place where you can connect to something greater than yourself.
There is something worth fighting for here, and even if you can't fight the battle for every single person and every single issue out there, at least you can fight for something that you know and you feel confident in.
It's about creating new conditions in which we can exist and which we can make space for each other. Because especially as racialized artists, we don't feel like we belong most of the time. And so we have to kind of come together and create space and change that.
Just this feeling of being understood and accepted, I think, is very impactful for me. The fact that I was given the space to create something that I feel resonates with me and to be able to do it freely, is a very good feeling.
Eventually the change will come, right? And if it doesn't come, then you make it happen through art exhibitions, through having little gatherings, through workshops, through talking to people. You know, change doesn't also have to be like this huge thing. It's literally in the everyday little steps. It happens in the mundane.
It's people's responsibility to utilize their creativity in whatever way possible. And so I think if you have the yearning to, or if you're called to do something and speak about something, that's a responsibility that's been given to you from the forces of the universe.
Don't get discouraged. This journey, it's like a maze. You're gonna see hurdles. You keep creating art. Remember, your art will happen. Sometimes our art pieces will take a whole entire lifetime. Just remember you're speaking for those who are not here no more. So keep pushing.